Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming down to Shoreditch in London today. You will see one spare chair, which is for the second part of our Chief Support contest between Ted Cheeseman and Asinia Byfield for the British title. Remarkably, he's yet to show, which I'm sure there's a reasonable excuse. He's on the train or so forth, so we're hoping he joins us shortly. I'm sure Ted's going to let us know what we think anyway. So, this card announced this morning, October 27th at the Copper Box Live and exclusive on Sky Sports and DAZN across America as well, has had unbelievable reviews. Of course, 5 championship fights, all complete 50-50s, televised from 7 p.m. through the night. Before we get to the championship fights, we got a 10-round contest in the middleweight division with what I believe is one of the top young prospects in the sport of boxing, and certainly in the middleweight division right now. It's the undefeated Felix Cash. Felix, 10 rounds for you, October the 27th, and licking your lips after seeing a brilliant British middleweight title last week against Langford and Welborn.
Yeah, definitely. Watched the fight and on the weekend just gone, and you know, there's nothing there that I'm really worried about at all. It was a good fight. All he did was really stand there and punch straight off each other. So I think anyone can do that. But they done well. Obviously, well done, Welborn, for obviously winning again. But you know, I know he's got a mandatory now with Hearn. So you know, the fight I think in December. I think someone said. So hopefully after them two get that fight on, the winner of them, I'd like to get them next. You know, obviously, the Southern area English, we've tried to make them fights, try to make them sort of fights, and they didn't want to know much to fight.
How frustrating is it for you? I mean, obviously we try and make these fights, and not queuing up to fight Felix Cash right now.
It is frustrating because, you know, I want to move on. I want to be in championship fights, win titles, and obviously move on, move up and up and up. And it ain't obviously ain't happening. I'm like stuck in the mud. Everyone else is fighting for titles, and I'm sat there and I'm not fighting for titles, and some guys are fighting for the titles. I know that would beat him easy, so it's a bit frustrating, but you know, I'll get there in the end, and I'll just be patient, and when my opportunity comes, I'll be definitely taking it.
You will get there. A brilliant Commonwealth featherweight title fight on a card, and Ryan, thanks for making your way here today. I know you come down from Manchester. This is a really important fight for both guys. Reece Bellotti, who's also on the card on October the 27th, was involved in a brilliant fight with Ryan Doyle on a Next Gen show at York Hall. Ryan come through there with a stoppage. It was a brilliant fight, and now he's faced with a tough first defence against Jordan Gill. You know, we know he's racked up a very clean record, hasn't been tested in the deep end too much yet in his career yet, linked up with Dave Coldwell. There's a lot of talk about Jordan Gill, but now it's time to find out if the talk and the hype is real against Ryan. So firstly, Jordan, this is really what you've been after for a while now, a big test and your first major title.
100%. This is the sort of fight that I wanted to be in for the last 2 years. You know, I'm in boxing for the big fights, for the big nights, and you know, it's been frustrating to this point getting here. But you know, I had 18 months out of the ring where I was training non-stop. I didn't get a fight, and I've made the move to Dave Coldwell. I've rebuilt for a year. I've had 5 fights, 5 wins, British title eliminator, and now I've thankfully got a big shot at the Commonwealth title against a very tough fighter, Ryan Doyle. So I'm pleased to have the opportunity, and I'm going to make it count.
Ryan, brilliant fight with Reece Bellotti last time out. Really turned your career around. We know you trained hard for that, taking up, you know, boxing full time seriously, and it's really changed your career now. You can really dedicate your time to the sport. And again, the winner of this fight, already a done deal to face the winner of Lowe against Walsh as well. So taking from the Commonwealth into the British title, a massive opportunity for you, Ryan, on October 27th.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, I'm training full time now. You know, I've not worked on the head. I'm just training full time, and looking forward to the fight on the 27th. Regarding Jordan, I don't know a massive amount about him, but what I do know is, you know, he's a good technical fighter. I don't believe he's been. Well, he has not been in the same fights as I have. Do you know what I mean? I battle hard, and now I've been in the wars, and you know, obviously it's Jordan's time now to have a little go. But you know, I didn't have a war with Bellotti just to give the title away. So I'm looking forward to the 27th. You know, I'm going to bring my A game and, you know, look into the business.
Big opportunity for you as well, but always showing that fighters should always look for that opportunity. You was involved in fights. I know you come out to Belfast at late notice, you know, to fight James Tennyson, and all of a sudden from nowhere it looked like potentially you could be packing it in, and now looking to win Commonwealth, and well, you won Commonwealth and adding British titles, boxing in big fights on TV. Anything can happen in this game. Yeah,
definitely. Like I said, at Christmas time I was looking on packing it in, and, you know, obviously just working full time. I got the opportunity to fight Reece and I took it with both hands. Like I say, I'm looking forward to being in these big fights. I understand that you know, Jordan comes from, he's got a good stable behind him, you know, a good trainer, and he's definitely a stiff test for me. You know, there's no grey area about that. Yeah, I understand I've got to be the 100% to beat him, but, you know, like I said, I've not been in these fights just to give it away. I'm going to be there on the night, and I'm looking forward to doing the business. Great fight for the Commonwealth featherweight title. Before I go to Jake Paul against Craig Richards, I'm conscious that Luke Watkins has got to shoot off. Sorry for the late start because of our friend Mr. Byfield, who we'll talk about shortly. But firstly, this fight is a great fight. I'm going to start with Isaac first. Isaac, you've made so many changes. You know, you got the opportunity to headline at the O2 recently. 9,000, it was a mad night. You didn't come through that night, but I'm sure learnt so much. A risky fight against Luke Watkins, coming back, having changed so much. I know you're feeling, you know, $1 million right now, and you're looking great, and camp's going great, but really another crunch fight for your career on October 27th.
Yeah, I definitely can't wait. You know, it's been a long time coming to have my return. A lot of people have been asking, you know, but I thought I had to make the necessary changes to my career. You know, after the fight, I got an apartment close to Sutton. The gym is like a 5-minute walk from there, so obviously I moved out of Brixton now, you know, to focus entirely on boxing and my craft. You know, I'm now training with Jorge Rubio and Angel Fernandez, two top quality coaches. You know, my strength and conditioning guy Alex Stott as well. You know, so everything is a lot more structured and a lot more strategic. You know, and I felt like I needed to make these necessary changes because, you know, as an amateur I had 9 amateur fights, and then, you know, 10 professional fights, and then headlining the O2, and that's with literally just my talent. Now imagine if I had a real structure and a real team behind me, like properly. Imagine what I can do, and that's what I'm focusing on right now.
Believe Watkins is the right fight at the right time for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, he's a young, hungry guy. Obviously he's coming off the loss against Okoli, so he's definitely going to want to be hungry and come for me. So he's going to want this win, definitely. So that's it's a great fight for the fans, you know. The fans are in for a treat with this one because it's 2 young, hungry guys that's going to want to come back into the limelight again. So credit to him for taking it, you know, and this is going to be a great fight for everyone to enjoy.
Luke, no easy touches, straight back in the deep end. Obviously disappointed against Okoli. You got hit by a big shot early on in that fight. But now, again, a must-win fight for you if you're going to progress on to major titles.
I've always wanted to do this, Eddie.
Go on then.
Baby, we made it! I'm sorry. I've waited to do that for a long time, and I've waited to be getting to this table. I have to give full credit to Isaac, the man at the other end of the table. This is a must-win fight for both of us. I don't see the point in me stepping backwards, fighting guys that nobody's heard of. The British fight fans want to see me fight people like Isaac. They want to see me fight the likes of Lawrence. They want to see that, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm not here to fight the journeyman. I've been learning my craft, and I will continue to learn the craft along the way. And I will progress, and these are the fights that I will take. I've said it and I've made it clear. I will fight anyone. And I'm glad that Isaac's in the other corner because it takes 2 people to dance. I respect him for that. But come fight night, it's on.
We look forward to that. I'll let you make your way.
Yes,
and I know you've got to shoot off. A title for that fight will be announced in due course. Now, back to the bottom table. And again, this card is all about fighters stepping up into fights that, to be honest, they should be taking. But ultimately, sometimes in boxing they wouldn't take, and this is a classic example of 2 guys who are ready to challenge for British titles but have decided to fight each other in a big fight, high profile fight, televised fight to move on to that championship test. Firstly, Craig, again, this is a brilliant fight. We know it was sort of called out and muted a while back. The new season's here. Both of you have decided to take it. You stepped in and gave Frank Bruglione a great fight for the British title. This fight's going to give you another shot at that title, and obviously WBA Continental title on the line as well. Brilliant fight between you and Jake Paul.
Yeah, it's thank you, Eddie, for this fight. This is the sort of fight that I do need. Definitely, I think like when I displayed myself against Buglioni, I took that on short notice, obviously only a week notice, didn't get to train for it. So I didn't really get to display the best of me. And obviously after that fight, I had to, considering it was short notice, I still had to go to the drawing board, look to see what I had done wrong. And of course, one major thing is I still needed to grow into the weight properly. So I've spent time now, a year, growing into the weight, had two good comeback fights, got the stoppages, and now it's just about displaying and letting the British public see how good I am. So if I win and beat someone else, no one's going to give me credit. Jake's a good, credible opponent, so to go out there and beat Jake, I think I'll get the credit that I deserve. So it's exactly what I need at this stage in my career. I've boxed 7 times now above the super middleweight limit, but never completely at light heavyweight, apart from my last 2 fights. And 6 out of 7, I got the stoppage within 3. So I know at light heavyweight, I'm a different fighter completely to what I am at super middleweight. And October the 27th is about displaying that and showing that.
Do you believe you add to that KO percentage here against Jake Paul? Do you think you beat him inside the distance?
To be honest, yeah, I do.
Okay, fair enough. Mickey. Well, Mickey Helliott, when he comes back, join us up on this table to speak for Asinia. Jake, again, you've been looking for these big fights and, a quick run out for you next week and a big change for you up at the Ingle Gym as well. But this is a good fight. A lot of people are already talking about across social media and one that you can really get your teeth into.
That's right, yeah. I wanted this fight originally beginning of the year, but due to injury, it's been postponed. But it's one of those fights where me and Craig are at the same sort of level in our career at the minute. So we both could have had easier routes. We didn't have to take this fight, but we're fighters. It's a sort of fight that draws the fans' attention, and a fight that's going to catapult us, obviously, up the British rankings and into bigger and better fights.
New era for you as well, up to the Ingle Gym, training and living up there with Billy Joe and others as well, giving you a spring in your step going into this fight. Yeah,
it was one of those where a change was needed, and it was the right move for me. So I've gelled into the camp, lovely. Dom's a dime, all the boys have welcomed me with open arms, and things are going absolutely perfect at the minute.
Okay, Mickey, do you want to come up and join us up here? Okay, Ted. Okay, we were looking forward to this, Ted. We've seen a lot of stuff on social media, and but away from that, this is a fight that a lot of people are talking about. This is the crunch fight of your career so far. The British light middleweight title on the line against you and Byfield.
Yeah, I think it's more the name of the fight for fighting for the British title. I think like the test against Carson Jones is a much harder test for me and much more of a fight what I could learn from. I think this is a matter of getting an opponent out of the way with, so I can push on to some big fights. I believe I'm well past the level of Byfield, but obviously I'm only young, I'm getting manageable and I'm picking the right fights at the right time, but I can't wait for the night to come now and prove how good I am.
I mean, obviously there's a lot of talk domestically around your division at the moment. I know you're not looking past Byfield, but a potential fight as well between Fowler and Fitzgerald, not for the immediate future, but again the winner of that could be someone you could challenge after that fight, and domestic seem really hotting up.
Yeah, light middleweight division everywhere now is a big weight, and there's a lot of fighters there, a lot of big names and stuff, and I think there's going to be some big fights in over the next 6 to 12 months for me to have.
Been a lot of chat on social media. What do you make of the no-show today? Different?
He lived up to his name, didn't he, as the Ghost. We didn't know if he's here or not, but it's embarrassing really on his behalf, because we all know, we've all been there, do you know what I mean? Someone rings, your missus answers the phone, no, he ain't here, he's left. But we're telling her, look, don't tell me, don't tell me. Do you know what I mean? We've all been there, do you know what I mean? And obviously, he's starting to get rattled, and he's realising he's in a big fight. And to be honest, I know he's the type of fighter, he needs a mind coach and stuff, and his head's going, and I think I'm already 1-0 up on him already, and I think he's a beaten fight already.
Mickey, we know you're not behind the no-show, but you want to talk about Asinia and obviously, firstly, him not being here, but also how big this fight is, and talk about your man's chances.
Well, firstly, I apologise for him not turning up. I mean, he knew of the press conference. I spoke to his girlfriend, I spoke to his coach. They all knew about it. They all said he'd be here. Up to like 5 minutes ago before I was in it, I'm still trying to locate him. His phone is ringing now, so...
Well, what do you put that down to? I mean, listen, we don't know. Maybe he's had a problem on a tube, but do you think this is mind games from him?
Possibly, he's a very deep guy, so maybe I'm not saying that I understand, the tactic. I don't know. I mean, I'm really excited about the fight. I mean, I followed Ted right from the amateurs. I know him very well. He's a very, very good fighter. He's a really good fighter. Asinia obviously has come through my little Hellraiser shows, through that system that we have that produces every now and then a good one, and Asinia is a good one. And for him to fight Ted as a boxing fan, that's a massive fight. There's no better fight than that. You won't see, I promise you'll get a fight of the year out of them two. It will be the fight of the undercard. I think you've got a brilliant fight, and I'm glad it's on Sky and on Matchroom, that it's got that platform that it deserves, because I have some really good fights on my shows, but you don't really see them unless you follow my YouTube or you come to the York Hall. This is going to go out there, and I think you're going to give a platform that will catapult one of the two fighters. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion who wins. I think Ted will be the favourite, and I think that's probably justifiably so on what he's done before now. But I think you've got yourself a really, really good fight on you.
And a big fight for you as well. I mean, you do a great job building these fighters up, and to get really to these kind of levels, these kind of opportunities for them to go on and be a major name in British boxing.
This is Asinia Byfield's World Cup final. He will put. I've no idea why he's not here now. I mean, I just can't fathom. I mean, I'll find out, but I mean, this is like exposure like he's never had before. And I wish he was here. He will be there on the night, I'm sure. And
we hope so. Yeah. Ted hopes so as well. Listen, I know that there'll be a reason behind it somewhere, right or wrong. But thanks for
the train ticket.
Yeah. But thanks, Mickey, and thanks for making this fight as well, because this is a fight that a lot of people are really looking forward to. John, last but certainly not least, I think one of the most remarkable comebacks of recent times in British boxing. The loss to Armfield, which nobody felt you would lose, could have gone either way, that fight. Then in a Rocky Fielding fight, could have gone either way, that fight. You're on the back of 2 defeats there. And quite frankly, and we were probably one of those people that probably felt that John Ryder's story was over. Get the chance against Nielsen, knocked him out at Wembley, which was a brilliant performance from you. Second round stoppage of Jamie Cox. Now in with a Sirotkin, undefeated Russian, and a chance to become mandatory for the winner of George Groves against Callum Smith. It's been an unbelievable 12 months for you.
Yeah, no, it's been a great run of form in the last 12 months, and I'm just looking forward now to getting in there on the 27th and getting another win and a step closer to a world title.
Obviously, the British fans won't know a lot about Sirotkin. He was the guy that was called by the WBA, undefeated Russian. People talk very highly of him, on those shores. How do you rate him? What have you seen so far, looking at him with Tony and Charlie?
I've not looked too much into him, but I've seen he's fought Mayorga. Mayorga's about 108 now, so you can't read too much into that. He's beat Ryan Ford on home soil, and from what I see of the fight, it was a bad tactics really. The referee should have picked up on it. But he's going to come to win, and he's going to protect his undefeated record. I mean, I've been 15-0. I know what it's like to lose at that stage, and he's going to have to rebuild.
How much do you think those losses have really defined and refined you, and now how big is your confidence coming off the back of those wins?
My confidence is sky high now. I believe in my ability. I've started believing in myself more, my mental ability, my physical ability. I think it's made me an all-round better fighter.
And finally, the end result for you, hopefully the victory and a shot at the Groves Smith winner. Who do you think wins that fight coming up next week, and who would you prefer to fight?
I'd honestly fight either one of them. It's a real tough fight to call. Is it a step too far for George now? Has he had too many hard fights, or is it that Callum's missed the boat and he should have took up other opportunities? But it'd be an interesting fight, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Well, we hope you can beat Sirotkin on the 27th and fight the winner. A massive show at the Copper Box on the 27th. Of course, Felix Cash kicking off the action. And then Craig Richards against Jake Ball, WBA Continental title. Ryan Doyle against Jordan Gill for the Commonwealth Featherweight title. Isaac Chamberlain against Luke Watkins. Ted Cheeseman against Asinia Byfield for the British title. And a final eliminator for the WBA World title between Ryder and Sirotkin. Tickets go on general sale tomorrow. They're on sale now via Fight Pass. We're going to have head-to-heads with Doyle and Gill and Richards and Jake Ball and Ted Cheeseman and Mickey Elliott. And we're going to go from there. Thanks for turning up. We'll see you very soon. Cheers.